Hello, viewers, and welcome to this edition of Sensor 360 Investor. And today we're going to focus in on markets and the masters list. Plus, we will also add a third segment, which is we'll take a look at notable earnings reporting this week. Before we begin, quick word about the disclaimer, quickly pause, read, and then continue. Thank you. Okay, so without much further ado, first topic is masters list. And we will switch over to charts, this segment. Okay, now that we switched over to charting, let's take a look at the markets first, and we'll start off here with the broader Nasdaq. And so we can see the broader Nasdaq still in this uptrend, and it has kind of pulled in a little bit over the past weekend, a little bit. Adding this trend line up here, we breached it, went through it, and now we'll come back to it. So we'll take a look at this on a daily, and the daily gives us a little bit of a clearer picture. So we can see that we went above the long-term up channel trend line, which usually means that the issue or the index or the stock ticker is now running a little hot. So we started to get hot and accelerated a little bit. And since then, we reached this little area of peak where we had this big down day, followed by another big down day here. And now we've had a couple of 3 days where the market's trying to find some level of support. And it's interesting that it's right at the upper channel trend line. So this is an area to watch. We do have short-term moving averages that are starting to round out. So we'll see when that happens. But the key thing to take away from the Nasdaq is to watch to see if we can get above the highs of this big first thrust down over here. And if we do, obviously we'll have to fill this gap before we get there, and then we'll have to move above this to see if this trend's going to resume, which will be a statement of strength given the fact that we did break this long-term upper channel trend line. So that will be something that we'll need to watch out on. So let's go back to the daily and the weekly chart and switch over to the broader S&P 500 index. And again, put an upper channel line. So this one just kind of pierced its head above and then came back down. Again, similar to the Nasdaq, the broader Nasdaq. What we want to see here is to see if the market can garner strength, get above the highs of last week, and then maybe come back and retest the upper channel trend line to see if this market has got any gusto above. If it can't, then we'll be looking to see where the beginnings of the break to the downside would occur. So the market's got some testing days ahead. The fact that both the broader S&P 500 index and the broader Nasdaq are finding levels of support. Those need to be watched to see if they can hold. Okay, so let's take a look at the all of the tickers that comprise the makeup of the masters list. And as mentioned before in the previous video, the masters list comes from some pretty well-known long-term practitioners of canceling. And what's interesting is that although the list on aggregate is close to 100, there was a lot of consensus amongst them as well. So what we want to do here is basically want to look for those that are in some kind of base. So just like Coinbase is here, and that will give you an idea as to where you can set your pivot and find an entry point into that issue is if it's something that you are keen on doing. So coin is definitely in a base. SLM Corporation has broken out last week. Itron Inc. is in a base. It's trending up following its breakthroughs. So it's in the follow through mode. This one, it's in a pullback. It did come out of this little consolidation here from a breakout. So now it's coming back into support zones. So quite often as secondary buy points, those can be looked at as well. So this is Sarepta Therapeutics. This one we can see just recently came out of a base. This one is in a base. Looks like it's on the left-hand side of that consolidation. If it doesn't round out soon, then maybe this becomes more of a decline. So far, the depth is on this base is about 16%. So it's not really shallow. So yeah, so we would still think of this as basing. Amazon's got a little pullback going. Wall State came out and that's probably an earnings breakout. So needs a little time to see if it's not a move straight up from the bottom. So this came out of a base and it's digesting. Tenet Healthcare looks like it's in a continuation setup. So a breakout above that, one looks close to about 140 mark is the tell. Century Aluminium been trending up, a little bit of a pullback, and not a very good looking base there. Berkshire Hathaway broke out of this sideways consolidation, but it didn't really follow through. So it's kind of making it so far. This is just 1 day's worth of trading this week, but we'll have to see just to see if this can continue moving up. So YPF Sociedad is in a kind of a looks like a continuation base setup. Digital Realty was in a little bit of a base. It's kind of moved up and out of it and then back down to what looks like close to where the pivot would have been. Form factor, no clear base there. Neither here, neither here, neither here. So cyber looks like it came out of it's kind of based here, made the right hand side, little bit of a handle, but we can see the handle's not that great because it's kind of wedging, broadening, a little bit higher highs, moving up and then lows. So the handle needs a little work here. Lantheus is extended. That's in a base. Health equity looks like it's in a little bit of a downtrend. Trinity, it's a bit wide and loose, this one. So this one, PODD, which is Insulet Corporation, still kind of in a decline, it's trying to change that trend. So it hasn't really worked so far. We're gonna have a higher low here, but we do make a higher high. So now it's in that bit of a coiling action. Celsius, interestingly, so we kind of got a double top in Celsius, and we see it's in a now it's in a decline. It's below its all these averages, and still moving down. Stock was at 100. That's at 48, so it's lost a good 50%. from where it was. Yeah, close to just over 50%. So we need to get 100% to get back to even. Z-scaler was in a decline, and now it's kind of rounded out. And we have a little bit of a shakeout week here. After the shakeout week, we can see that it's starting to climb the right-hand side. We do have a little bit of a sideways action going on here, so we need to see a little bit more strength and the stock building out its base. And since it's had quite a decline, relative strength obviously is poor. Palantir is at or above a buy pivot point coming out of this little consolidation here. So a little weakness could put you into a place where you could consider this. So this one on, it's been a bit choppy, wide trading. Same as Datadog. Kava is a recent IPO, which has been pretty profitable. So we see it taking out a little nice little breakout here. Earlier buy down here. And now it's coming in. After this run, it's coming in and consolidating. So this is typical of a breakout strategy where you will see the stock breaking out of a consolidation and then making its follow through. And then once it packs on about 20 to 30% gains, it's not abnormal for the stock to then put in another base as, for profit taking to take place. Inflation, which is all the rage in IT, kind of a bit of a decline. Trade desk, this one's come back with a powerful response after its decline down here, massive breakout, and then it's just continued to work its way upward. Las Vegas, this is in decline. Welltower, uptrend, whatever decline, short term, could be basing. DraftKings looks in a short-term correction. Uploading, it's been a nice uptrend, and we have a little sideways consolidation here, so that could be a continuation base. We want to look for an upside break from a few weeks ago to move into this one. First Solar had a nice little pop, and it's now in the basing action. Lamb had a big breakout pop here. It may fill that, we'll see. And now it's coming back in, but not the best of setups. There's better setups elsewhere in the list. So this one's a little bit tighter, new holdings. So here we can see the uptrend, and we've got a nice little consolidation, nice little breakout, and the stock is continuing to try and put some space between its buy point and where it's at. Marathon Digital. So here we've got a sideways digestion, and if you take well, this is going back a little bit, certainly since the lows there in 23, you've got 1,000%. We take the lows of this base, then 45, and if we take the lows of this consolidation, 133. So certainly has some pretty impressive prior uptrends, depending on where you want to draw it. Either way, stock's in a base. CleanSpark is in a sideways consolidation. So this one looks like DoorDash looks like it's in more of a decline than it could still end up basing. So we'll have to see if this can find a shakeout or a basing structure. So it's down about 30%. So still within our basing parameters in terms of depth. So this one base came up from the bottom and then moving sideways Monday. Norwegian Cruise Holdings, so it's just choppy sideways, no clear up trend or strength. So Micron Technologies, slightly different picture. We can see a nice higher uptrend here, a little pullback action here. Now it looks like we got basing action going on here. Some weaknesses, then so high level distribution days. So we've had 3 of those on the left hand side. So that could be a harbinger of some more downturn in the stock. Bluebird Corporation, I saw sideways continuation base structure. So this one's working its way through a deeper base and working its way up. So we've got we got a bigger base here. You got a little correction within the base here and a little sideways digestion right here. So it's probably made enough of a structure now to look like a cup and handle. So we want to clear the highs of the handle on a breakout on volume. Stepstone, clear uptrend. Fresh Pet, it's been moving up and we have a little pullback underway. So this one's falling through. Transmedics, KKR trend, AMSC uptrend, PTGX uptrend, ACLX, this is in a base. Another one that's in a base is Root after its big explosive moves, so a lot of accumulation here. And now it looks like it wants to find higher ground. PDD Holdings looks like it's making a bit of a base next to a base. This one's also sideways digestion. SMCI. So SMCI had this powerful move, a lot of accumulation in this run here. And since then, it's kind of been maybe some level of profit taking over here, but no one's really selling it off. So we can see a lot of support on this stock at this range around the 782. And so if that's been holding for many weeks, break below that to the downside obviously means there's distribution going on. And we can analyze this base to see if there's accumulation or distribution within the base to give us an idea as to which way this may resolve. So might be worth you studying SMCI's base in a bit more detail. Axon looks nice looking base there, and getting close to the pivot. This is a nice uptrend, continuation FTAI. Here's another one, Make My Trip, another nice run up. BPMC, Blueprint, so another nice uptrend, loosen. Tidewater, another one that's been moving up fairly easily. A couple of pauses along the way, one here, one here, one here, another one here. So a nice breakout to the upside out of this could be interesting. Royal Caribbean Group. So again, we have this basing action down here, came out of that sideways digestion and just ease its way out of that. Little breakout here, and it's just continued to put in accumulation weeks along the way. So this stock is being bought and accumulated. Hood moving up. NTRA's nice uptrend. Looks like a continuation base. So this one is in a pullback, or early stages of a consolidation base. Need to see what the bottom of that looks like. So here we have a and here's an example where just like the last stock, so it's been pulling back, and then we get a shakeout week, which is a week of support, so that typically does mark the bottom of the base, and then we can start to see it building strength, and now we start to see money rolling into it as it starts building the right hand side. So that's what Powell needs to demonstrate. And been a little choppy, but consolidation. Wicks, so this one jumped out of a base here. And if this is attributed to earnings or some kind of catalyst, that's fine. Otherwise, if they move straight up from the lows, they can be weak and they need time to digest, which is what this one's doing. S-band, so the base will pull back action. Sidewire still going through. Who's Elton's moving up, moving up. Nice, could be a continuation base forming in Abercrombie. Pure nice uptrend. So this one's, it's kind of broken out last week, so we'll have to see what it does this week. Google continuing to its move up. It's had a bit of a little pullback for the last few weeks. PGR, that was earnings last week, and it's holding. Other than that, it's holding in that continuation base. Aero environment, we can see a little bit of a sell-off, but now it's shoring up. We'll pull back on ANET. Service now is trying to round out the right-hand side and starting to make some moves. So if it can get above the highs here, it can position itself for a breakout. Eli Lilly, nice move up, and just every now and then pauses for 3 or 4 weeks and then moves on out. We did have a big sell-off that week, so that's a huge sell-off in what could be the biggest week for a while. We had a big week up here on volume accumulation, so it's not the biggest week, so just need to see what it does near that average moving average in terms of support. TDG is a long-term winner, very profitable trade. Now we're seeing a nice little continuation base in the makings here. Cardo Libre, it's in a consolidation base next to base. An uptrend for booking. So this one's CrowdStrike, obviously a little breakdown going on, action going on here. 2 big down weeks. There was another high volume week down here. So let's just see where that was. Right at the top. So a little churning action where it opened where the prior week was in terms of close, couldn't nudge much higher than the highs of the prior week, and then found its way towards the lows. And then it was kind of we had tight price action here, and then we had a little selling going on here on slightly higher volume than the prior week, and then we had the big crescendo down here on the news of failed rollout, and now it's following through to the downside. It's now also cracked through this long-term average, so this is not technically, now this stock looks like it's in a bit of a mess, and it was down quite a bit, 13%. Okay, Hilar, NVIDIA, nice and tight continuation pattern. So NVIDIA is looking like it may want to move on up. So here we have a nice uptrending. Skyward Specialty, lots of accumulation weeks in there. So this one's digesting sideways, so kind of a continuation look for Meta. So we need to see it breaking out of those recent highs. HIMS has been moving up, had a consolidation here, broke out, and now it's trying to form a continuation structure. And back to Coinbase. So that uh, takes us through about 95 stocks in the aggregate list, and a whole bunch of them have bases. Okay, so that was the masters list, and so I did say we'll take well, at least mention some notable earnings come this week. So Microsoft after the bell reports July 23rd. Obviously, that could be that's a tape paint. It could move the market. Also, July 23rd, Alphabet reports after the bell as well, as does Tesla, as does Visa. And so those are all part of the Mag 7. So 3 of those 7 are reporting. In addition, we have bellwether Visa reporting after the bell, Coca-Cola, which reports July 23rd before the open. And then on the semis, we have Texas Instruments reporting after the bell as well on the 23rd. GE Aerospace, which kind of gives us which is another bellwether stock. So that one is also 7/23rd, but before the open. And another bellwether stock in terms of the pulse of the economy is United Parcel, and they also report 7/23 before the open. So there's some key earnings reports to track and watch. Okay, so in this video we covered the markets, and we covered the aggregate masters list, as well as identify some notable earnings to keep abreast of, since we do have some big cap stocks reporting, and they obviously can move the market. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will see you next time. Goodbye.